My beloved child, I know that you have been carrying a heavy burden in the quiet corners of your heart, a weight that feels like a wall between us. And I want you to stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and listen to the truth that I am speaking directly into your spirit right now. You have convinced yourself that your struggles, your failures, and those recurring stumbling blocks have somehow pushed me away, creating a distance that you fear is too vast to cross. But I need you to understand that my presence is not fragile, and my closeness to you is not determined by your performance or your perfection, but by my unchanging nature and my eternal choice to love you. I see the way you look at the ceiling in the middle of the night, wondering if you have finally crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. And I hear the whispers of doubt that tell you I am tired of your inconsistencies. But those are not my thoughts toward you, for my thoughts are filled with a compassion that is deeper than the deepest ocean and wider than the skies you gaze upon. You feel like you are standing on the outside looking in, watching others who seem to walk in seamless victory while you limp along in the shadows. But I want you to know that I am not looking for a perfect exhibit of holiness. I am looking for your heart, and I am right there with you in the shadows, waiting for you to simply turn your head and see that I never left. It is easy for you to believe that my love is something that must be earned and maintained through flawless behavior, because the world has taught you that affection is conditional, and that acceptance is a prize for the worthy. But my kingdom operates on a completely different law, the law of grace, which states that you are loved simply because you are mine. You fear that your struggles make me distant, that every time you fall, I take a step back in disappointment. But the reality is that when you hurt, I draw closer, like a tender parent rushing to the side of a wounded child, not to scold, but to scoop you up and hold you until the trembling stops and the fear subsides. There is a persistent lie that has taken root in your mind, suggesting that you are damaged goods, that your history of mistakes has disqualified you from the beautiful destiny I have prepared. But I need you to silence that voice and hear the steady rhythm of my heart beating for you, assuring you that nothing you do can surprise me and nothing you face can intimidate me. My love is not a fragile glass sculpture that shatters when you drop it. It is a fortress of iron and stone, unshakable and unbreakable, designed to withstand the storms of your life and the earthquakes of your failures, standing tall and firm to protect you even when you feel like you are the one attacking the walls. I am speaking to you now because I see the exhaustion in your soul, the weariness that comes not from physical labor, but from the emotional marathon of trying to be good enough on your own strength. And I want you to lay down that heavy armor and realize that you do not have to fight for a seat at my table, because a place was reserved for you before the foundations of the world were laid. You worry that you have exhausted my patience, that the supply of mercy has run dry because you have dipped into the well too many times. But my mercy is new every morning, not because you have earned it, but because I am infinite, and there is no limit to the forgiveness that flows from my heart to yours. Let this message wash over you like a warm rain, soaking into the dry and cracked places of your spirit where shame has tried to grow. And let it remind you that you are not defined by your worst moments or your hidden battles, but by the name I have written on your heart, a name that means beloved, chosen, and redeemed. You are holding your breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for punishment, but I am offering you an embrace, a safe harbor where you can finally exhale and realize that the gap you feel between us is an illusion created by fear. For I am as close to you as the very air in your lungs. I want you to look at the signs within you that prove you are not lost, beginning with the remorse that you feel so deeply. For a heart that has truly turned to stone does not grieve over its mistakes, and the very fact that you care about your standing with me is evidence that your spirit is alive and sensitive to my touch. You interpret your guilt as a sign of condemnation, but I see it as a sign of a soft heart that is desperate to remain in alignment with love. A heart that is not rebellious but simply wounded and struggling to find its footing on a path that sometimes feels steep and slippery. Consider the fact that you keep returning to me, even when you feel unworthy, even when you feel like a hypocrite, because there is a tether of love connected to your soul that gently pulls you back to your true home. And that instinct to return is not something you created, but a divine homing beacon I placed within you. If you were truly separated from me, you would have no desire to seek my face. You would have abandoned the journey long ago without a second thought. But you are still here, still listening, still hoping for a word of comfort. And that persistence is a beautiful sign of your belonging. You have a hunger for mercy that outweighs your desire for excuses. For you are not standing before me trying to justify your actions or blame others for your stumbling. You are simply asking for grace, and that posture of humility is the most precious offering you can bring, far more valuable than a perfect record of behavior. The world tells you to defend yourself, to hide your flaws and project strength, but you come to me with your defenses down, willing to be vulnerable. And that vulnerability is not a weakness in my eyes. It is the sacred doorway through which my healing power enters your life. There is a unique sensitivity in your spirit, a way that you feel the brokenness of the world and the brokenness within yourself more acute than others. And while you may view this as a flaw or an emotional instability, I tell you it is a sign of the depth I have carved out in you to hold a greater capacity for my love. You often feel out of place, like a stranger in a strange land, longing for a home you cannot quite describe. And this longing is not a symptom of depression, but a spiritual recognition that you were made for something more, made for a communion with me that the world cannot satisfy. You find yourself moved by the pain of others, your heart breaking for their struggles even when you are drowning in your own. And this empathy is a reflection of my own heart, a clear indicator that my spirit is active and alive within you, shaping you to be a vessel of comfort even amidst your own storm. You think you are too broken to be used, yet your compassion is growing in the soil of your suffering. And the way you gently treat those who are hurting is a testament to the work I am doing deep inside you, a work that is far from finished. The tears you shed in secret, the ones that no one else sees, are gathered by me and treasured, for they speak of a soul that refuses to become numb, a soul that is fighting to stay tender in a harsh world. And those tears are a prayer in themselves, a liquid language that I understand perfectly. You judge yourself for crying, thinking you should be stronger, but I created you to feel, to experience the full spectrum of emotion, and your sorrow over your distance from me is actually a sign of the immense value you place on our relationship. You still have a desire to be better, to rise above the patterns that have held you captive. And even if you have failed 1,000 times, the spark of hope that says, maybe this time will be different, is a fire that I am keeping alive, a holy discontent with the status quo that proves you are destined for growth. If you were truly cut off from my love, you would be content in the darkness. You would settle for the chains, but you rattle them, you pull against them. And that struggle is the evidence of a free spirit that knows it was born to fly. Notice how you instinctively look for meaning in your pain, how you search for the lesson or the growth opportunity even when the night is at its darkest. For this demonstrates a faith that believes in redemption, a trust that there is a weaver behind the tapestry who can make something beautiful out of the tangled threads. You are not a lost cause wandering aimlessly. You are a seeking soul who recognizes the voice of the shepherd, even if that voice seems faint right now. And the fact that you are straining to hear me is the surest sign that you are my sheep. Your heart is soft, your spirit is willing, and your hunger for righteousness is real. And I want you to stop interpreting these beautiful qualities as failures simply because they are accompanied by struggle. For the struggle is not the absence of faith, but the gymnasium where your faith is being exercised and strengthened. You are marked by my love, sealed by my spirit, and every time you sigh with a longing for peace, you are manifesting the evidence of your sonship and daughterhood, proving that you belong entirely and irrevocably to me. I know the crushing weight of shame you feel after repeating the same mistakes, the sinking feeling in your stomach when you realize you have fallen into the exact same trap you promised yourself and me that you would avoid. And that shame tries to tell you that you are a liar and a hypocrite. You look in the mirror and see only failure, unable to meet your own eyes, and you project that disgust onto me, assuming that I am looking at you with the same disdain. But I want you to know that I do not see a failure. I see a warrior who is learning to fight. You engage in cycles of self-punishment, denying yourself joy and peace because you believe you need to pay a penalty for your errors, thinking that if you make yourself miserable enough, it will somehow balance the scales and earn your way back into my good graces. This spiral of self-condemnation only drives you further into the dark, causing you to shrink away from the light of my love because you feel unworthy to stand in it. But I have never asked for your penance. I have only asked for your heart. I see how you hide rather than asking for help, withdrawing from the community and the people who love you because you are terrified that if they knew the real you, if they saw the mess behind the curtain, they would reject you just as you have rejected yourself. You build walls of silence and put on a mask of fine, smiling when you want to scream. And this isolation only amplifies the voice of the enemy who whispers that you are the only one struggling this way, the only one who can't seem to get it right. The fear of judgment paralyzes you, the fear that people will confirm your worst suspicions about yourself, and even more so, the fear that I am sitting on a throne of judgment tallying your every misstep with a frown of disapproval. You walk on eggshells in your spiritual life, afraid to make a move lest you make a mistake, and this anxiety robs you of the freedom I died to give you, turning a relationship of love into a rigid system of rules and fear. You feel entirely unworthy to start again, thinking that fresh starts are for people who haven't messed up as badly as you have, or for those who don't have such a long history of failures. And so you lay in the dust of your defeat, believing it is too late to stand up. You tell yourself that you have used up all your chances, that the book of your life is already written in tragedy. But I hold the pen, and I am telling you that a new chapter begins the moment you look up. The burden of "I should have known better" haunts you, playing on a loop in your mind, replaying the moments of decision where you chose the wrong path, and you torment yourself with hindsight, wishing you could turn back time and be the person you wanted to be. This regret is a heavy chain that anchors you to the past, preventing you from moving forward into the future I have for you. And I want to cut that chain and tell you that your past does not own you. You compare your insides to other people's outsides, looking at the polished lives of those around you and assuming they have no struggles, no doubts, and no secret battles, which makes you feel defective and uniquely broken in a world of perfect people. This comparison is a thief of joy, blinding you to the truth that every soul is fighting a hard battle, and that you are not an anomaly, but a human being in need of the same grace that sustains everyone else. The isolation of your secret struggle makes the monster seem bigger than it is, for in the darkness, shadows stretch and distort, making your challenges feel insurmountable and your God feel small. But if you were to bring them into the light, you would see that they are finite and I am infinite. You fear that speaking your truth will bring ruin, but it is the silence that is slowly eroding your hope. And I am calling you to break that silence, not with a shout, but with a whisper of honesty to me. You carry a deep-seated belief that I am tired of you, that I roll my eyes every time you come to me with the same old problem, like a frustrated teacher dealing with a slow student. But you are projecting human limitations onto a divine Father who possesses limitless patience. I do not get tired, I do not get weary, and I do not lose hope in you. My capacity to love you is as boundless as the universe I created, and I am as invested in your victory today as I was on the day you were born. The exhaustion of trying to fix yourself is wearing you down, the endless self-help strategies, the willpower games, the resolutions that last a week. All of it leaves you drained and cynical, wondering if real change is even possible or if you are destined to be this way forever. You are trying to do a supernatural work with natural tools, trying to heal a spiritual wound with a bandage of effort. And I am inviting you to stop striving and start abiding, to let my power flow through your weakness. Anxiety about the future grips you, the fear that you will never overcome, that you will die in this wilderness without ever reaching the promised land. And this fear creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of despair that keeps you frozen in place. You project your current struggle onto the timeline of your entire life, assuming that today's weather will be the forecast for forever. But I am the God of seasons, and winter does not last forever. Spring is coming, and with it, new growth. You feel unheard, crying out into the void and hearing only the echo of your own voice, wondering if your prayers are hitting a brass ceiling and bouncing back, leading you to question if I am even listening or if I have turned a deaf ear to your pleas. But silence is not absence, and just because you do not see the answer immediately does not mean I am not moving mountains on your behalf. I am working in the invisible realms, aligning things you cannot see for your good. There is a painful disconnect between your head and your heart. You know the theology of grace. You can quote the verses about forgiveness, but your heart cannot seem to feel the reality of it, leaving you trapped in a cognitive dissonance where you believe in a love you cannot experience. You feel like a fraud because of this gap, but I tell you that faith is often trusting what you know over what you feel, and your feelings will eventually catch up to the truth if you stand firm. The fear of abandonment is a cold wind that blows through your soul, a primal terror that one day you will wake up and I will be gone, having finally had enough of your baggage, leaving you to navigate this terrifying world all alone. But I have bound myself to you with a covenant that cannot be broken by human hands or human failures. I have said, I will never leave you, and I am not a man that I should lie. You are crushed by the expectations you think I have of you, imagining a demanding taskmaster who is never satisfied, always pointing out what is missing rather than celebrating what is there. And this false image of me keeps you running on a treadmill of performance until you collapse. I am not a taskmaster. I am a father, and I delight in you not for what you produce, but for who you are. Your very existence is a joy to me. Regret over lost time eats away at your peace. The thought of years wasted in the wrong direction, opportunities missed, and relationships damaged. And you mourn the life you think you could have had if only you had made different choices. But I am the redeemer of time, the one who can restore the years the locusts have eaten. And I can do more in a moment of my favor than you could do in a lifetime of your own striving. You feel a spiritual numbness, a dryness where there used to be rivers of joy, and this lack of sensation terrifies you, making you think the spirit has departed. But feelings are like the tides. They come and go, while the ocean of my presence remains deep and true. Do not mistake the quiet for the exit. I am often closest in the silence, working in the depths of your soul where emotions cannot reach, doing a foundational work that requires stillness. Finally, you struggle with the belief that love must be earned, a transactional view of relationship that says, if I do good, I get love. If I do bad, I get rejection. And this lie is the root of all your anxiety, preventing you from resting in the finished work of grace. I want you to shatter that ledger, to tear up the scorecard, and to realize that my love is a gift, free and unmerited, given to you not because you are good, but because I am love. Now receive this revelation that will anchor your soul. My mercy is infinitely stronger than your worst day, stronger than your darkest thought, and stronger than the most shameful secret you carry. For where sin abounds, grace abounds much more. You cannot outsin my grace. You cannot run further than I can reach. And there is no pit so deep that my love is not deeper still. You are swimming in an ocean of mercy, and you cannot drain it with a teaspoon of failure. You are not loved less in your weakness. In fact, your weakness is the very place where my power finds its perfect expression. For it is when you are at the end of your rope that you finally stop fighting and let me hold you. I do not love the future, perfect you, more than I love the current, struggling you. I love you fully, right now, in the mess, in the confusion, in the middle of the unresolved story. My love keeps holding you while I heal you. I do not require you to be healed before I hold you, just as a doctor does not ask a patient to get well before entering the hospital. I am the great physician, and you are in my care. The process of healing can be messy and painful, but my arms are steady, and I am not repulsed by your wounds. I am drawn to them with a desire to bind them up and pour in the oil of restoration. What you perceive as a setback is often a setup for a comeback, a necessary refining fire that burns away the impurities of pride and self-reliance, so that the pure gold of faith can shine forth. I am not destroying you. I am purifying you. You see the heat and the flames and you panic, but I have my hand on the thermostat, and I will not let the fire become hotter than you can bear. I am with you in the furnace, just as I was with the 3 Hebrew boys. You must understand that your value was settled at the cross, and nothing you do can add to it or subtract from it. You are worth the life of the Son of God, and that is a fixed price that never fluctuates with the stock market of your emotions. You are precious to me not because of your utility, but because of your identity. You are my child, and that family tie is the most defining truth of your existence. I am not surprised by your humanity. I know that you are dust, I know your frame, and I remember that you are frail, so when you fall, it does not shock me or cause me to rethink my choice of you. I factored in every mistake you would ever make before I called your name, and I chose you anyway, fully aware of the cost, fully aware of the trouble, because I saw something in you that was worth it all. The love I have for you is active, not passive. It is a relentless pursuit that chases you down the dark alleys of your despair and lifts you out of the mud. It is a love that fights for you when you have no fight left in yourself. You think you are holding on to me, but the truth is, I am holding on to you, and my grip is ironclad. You may lose your grip, but I will never lose mine. Your feelings are not the truth. They are valid indicators of your emotional state, but they are poor compasses for spiritual reality. The truth is found in my word, which says you are forgiven, accepted, and beloved, regardless of how you feel in this moment. You must learn to preach the truth to your own heart, to override the screaming emotions with the whisper of my promise, standing on the solid rock of what I have said rather than the shifting sand of how you feel. I am using your struggles to cultivate a compassion in you that will one day be a lifeline for others. You are going through this valley so that you can go back and guide others through it, telling them, I have been there, and God brought me through. Your pain is not wasted. It is being invested into a ministry of empathy that will touch lives you haven't even met yet, turning your misery into your ministry and your test into your testimony. Nothing can ever separate you from my love. Not your past, not your present, not your future, not angels nor demons, not height nor depth, nor any other created thing. This is the absolute guarantee of your life. Read that list again and realize that you are a created thing, which means even you cannot separate yourself from my love. It is a bond that transcends your will and rests entirely on my faithfulness. Transformation is a journey, not a switch. It is a slow, organic process like the growth of a tree, not the instant assembly of a machine. So be patient with yourself, for I am patient with you. You want to be an oak tree overnight, but an oak tree takes years of sun and rain and wind to become strong. Allow the process to unfold, and trust that I am watering you even when you feel dry. Grace is not a wage you earn, it is a gift you receive. If you could earn it, it wouldn't be grace, so stop trying to pay me back for the salvation I gave you freely. The only proper response to a gift is thank you. Receive my love with open hands, not with clenched fists trying to work for it. Let go of the pride that says you must deserve it, and embrace the humility that admits you need it. I am the author and the finisher of your faith. I started this good work in you, and I will be faithful to complete it. It does not depend on your strength to finish, but on my power to sustain you. You are looking at the middle of the story and thinking it's the end, but I have already written the final chapter, and it is a chapter of victory, of restoration, and of peace. Your past does not define your future. The rearview mirror is small for a reason, while the windshield is large because where you are going is far more important than where you have been. Do not let the ghosts of yesterday haunt the hallways of your tomorrow. I have washed your past away, and I am painting a new horizon for you, filled with hope and purpose. You are known fully and loved anyway. There is no secret closet in your heart that I do not have the key to, no hidden thought that escapes my notice, and knowing all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I still look at you with eyes of adoration. This is the miracle of my love, that it is not blind, but it sees everything and chooses you still. It is a love that knows the worst and offers the best. So I invite you to come back today, right now, in this very moment. You do not need to clean yourself up first. You do not need to have it all figured out. Just turn your heart toward me. It is a simple pivot, a shift of focus from your problem to your provider, from your sin to your Savior. Come as you are, for that is the only way you can come. There is no need for a dramatic speech or a complex ritual. A simple, "Help me, God," is a prayer that moves heaven. I am not impressed by eloquence. I am moved by sincerity. You don't have to explain everything to me, for I already know. Just bring your weary self and collapse into my arms, and let me do the heavy lifting for a while. Take one restoring step today. Maybe it is an apology you need to make. Maybe it is a scripture you need to read. Or maybe it is simply sitting in silence and accepting my love. Whatever it is, do it with the confidence that I am with you. Do not despise the day of small beginnings, for huge doors swing on small hinges, and one small step of obedience can change the trajectory of your entire life. Receive grace instead of self-punishing. When the accuser comes to remind you of your failure, point him to the cross and say, "It is paid for." Do not take on a debt that has already been cleared. Be kind to yourself, for you are my dwelling place. Treat yourself with the same gentleness that I treat you, and refuse to be an enemy to the one I love, which is you. I promise you that restoration is possible. Broken things can be mended, dirty things can be washed, and dead things can be brought back to life. That is my specialty. Do not look at the ruins of your life and see a wasteland. Look at them and see a construction site where I am building something more magnificent than what was there before. You are safe in my love. You are not walking on a tightrope over a canyon. You are walking on a wide path with guardrails of grace. Even if you stumble, you will not fall headlong, for I hold you by the hand. Let this sense of safety settle your nervous system. Let it calm your racing heart, and know that you are protected, watched over, and kept by the Creator of the stars. Release the burden you have been carrying. Visualize yourself taking that heavy backpack of shame, fear, and regret, and setting it down at my feet. Leave it there, and do not pick it up again. You were not designed to carry the weight of the world, nor the weight of your own sin. That is my job, and I am more than capable of handling it. Trust the timing of your life. You may feel like you are behind, but you are exactly where you need to be for the lesson I am teaching you. I am never late, and I am never early. Trust that I am coordinating the events of your life with perfect precision, weaving together the good and the bad to produce a tapestry of grace that will display my glory. Affirm your true identity. You are not a sinner striving to be a saint. You are a saint who struggles with sin. Your nature has been changed, and you are a child of the light. Walk in that identity. Hold your head high not because of your pride, but because you are royalty, a son or daughter of the King, and you have a heritage of hope. I want you to stay connected to this truth, to keep listening to these whispers of love. If this message has touched your heart, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, not as a command, but as a way to keep this lifeline open, to ensure that you are constantly reminded of who you are and whose you are. Let us walk this journey together, day by day, message by message, anchoring your soul in the truth. May the peace that passes all understanding guard your heart and your mind. May you feel the tangible weight of my presence lifting the heaviness from your spirit. May you sleep tonight with the assurance that you are held. You are forgiven, you are free, and you are cherished beyond measure. Let that truth sing you to sleep and wake you in the morning. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Nothing can separate you from my love, absolutely nothing. Go in peace, my child, and live in the light of my love.